So I'm a student before anything else. And I feel like in order for me to try anything, I have to understand it. And I go to lots of classes. I fly all over the country. I pick up the phone anytime I'm struggling with something so that I can understand how to do something. That's the C in me. And so again, like being a student and doing it the way that somebody else did it, or maybe learned lessons from how they failed, I think is the reason why I am successful so fast.
All righty, welcome back to Are You Winning? This is Coach Zuber, and I'm here today with the one and only Rebecca Cullen, business owner and real estate agent, entrepreneur of the Cullen Company at, what is it, at Keller Williams? Is it Cullen Company at Keller Williams? Is that right, Rebecca? Did I say that accurately?
We're at Keller Williams, yes.
That's awesome. And you serve what? The Charlotte metro area, as long as some counties in South Carolina?
Yes. So North and South Carolina licensed, and it's the whole metro area.
Yeah. And you're the owner and the leader of your business. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. I love it. And just about $1 million in gross commission income last year. And you've not been in the business for that long. Love it. How long exactly?
So got licensed in 2015 and got rocking and rolling January 2016. So real young in the business.
Young in the business. And what year did you start like building your own business, building your own brand? What year was that?
That was 2018.
2018. So basically about 4 years into leading others, building this business. How's that been going?
I want everything faster. I'm not very patient. And it's been a great journey.
All right. And you're also been recognized as 2021, you were recognized as the most dynamic woman of Charlotte. Did you get an award for that?
I got an award for that. Yeah. That was pretty special.
Absolutely. Most dynamic woman of Charlotte. So what do you think they chose you for?
So the reason I was chosen was because I created a Facebook community that puts small business owners on a pedestal. And there's about 1,500 members that we grew organically in there. And we just shout from the rooftops to buy local and shop local. So
that's incredible.
That was my pandemic, my baby.
Pandemic baby. Well, it's been exciting to watch because I've known you for a few years now, and the journey and the process that you've taken it's pretty rewarding. I'll tell you what.
Thank you.
So let's just jump right in. Tell us, what are you winning at now?
So in 2017. So before I started my own business, I was in Bold. We know Bold as a great class. And when we were doing the database exercise, I really honed in on the fact that people weren't going to move for every 7 to 10 years. And you know me, I'm not patient. I like to do things faster. And so the next 4 years, really, I spent trying to figure out how people could do those 7 to 10 years and make it faster. And I took alongside a few of our past clients, and we do, 7 to 10 transactions a year now. We turned it into our investor group, and we like to educate buyers and sellers around building wealth. And that's kind of our mission and part of our business. So we win with helping people build passive wealth, and we educate them through that. So that's kind of our bread and butter. and winning at that.
So you started focusing on helping your clients build passive wealth, and that's actually like, created a catapult for your business.
Yes.
I love that. So patience, you used that word a couple of times. How has not being patient, how has that benefited you? And then the flip side would be, and how has it potentially hurt you?
So it's benefited me because I make a decision and I'm super analytical as well. So that's the other part of my personality. So once the decision has been made, I just go with it and I figure out, no matter what it takes, I'll make it happen. So much so where I just, push people out of my way sometimes to make that happen. And what I've learned over the last few years is when you hire the right people or when you attract the right people into your business, you can go faster. And so that is really something that you and I have been working on this year, where I've learned just be patient with the right people and you'll go faster that way.
Got to slow down to speed up. Is that what we're saying?
That's exactly, yes.
Slow.
And I don't like doing that.
Right. And it's tough, right? Like it's tough to realize and evaluate that going slow means that you're actually going smoother, and going smoother means you can go faster.
Right.
It's tough to skip that step.
I skip it often.
What? Okay. So you skip it often. Sometimes you bump your head, you fail forward. What causes you to skip it?
So because I want to go so fast, and because I think that I can hear something one time that I've got it all figured out. And the reality is, and you say this so often, you got to build that foundation first. And that is my greatest lesson, is without that foundation, or without that, if you're thinking about a car, if the wheels are not secure, they're going to fall right off and then you have to start over. And so now, 4 years ago, me would have, not built that undercarriage strong or the foundation to a house. But now I get it. I've been burned so many times, or I have had to just work twice as hard to make things happen. And it's just not worth it anymore. I value time. I value time with my family. And so now finding leverage is one of the most important things.
How long has it taken you to figure that out?
4 years.
It's pretty fast, actually. I mean, in the grand scheme of life, there's people that haven't figured that out in 40 years, 50 years.
Yeah. My mom used to make fun of, she didn't make fun of me, but she would always say, stop rushing your life. Don't wish your life away. And I'm only 36. And so I've accomplished a lot in my short time. But I also have a goal of retiring by 50. And so not that I won't ever work again, but I want to choose what I want to do. And so I spend my time now making all the money, making all the opportunities, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, you're being fulfilled now? Isn't that a part of the journey, right? Like, be present, look around, enjoy the ride, celebrate the small successes along the way.
And I don't do that often enough. That's a great lesson that I've learned. Make time, celebrate the wins, cheer on the other people.
Yeah, because then we can build upon it, right? It's like, man, when you stay in progress, then what you focus on expands. So if we slow down to find the progress, then we can expand upon it. But if the only thing we do is look for a gap or what's not going right or what could do better, then potentially you're just going to get more of it.
Right. I like
So,
getting more of it.
if you want more of it, then maybe we slow down to find the progress so we can have more progress versus the other way, right? Weird.
It is weird.
Sometimes you just got to laugh, Rebecca.
Hey there, I'm Jeremy Herman, CEO and co-founder of Clarity Now. Listening to this podcast means that you're committed to your career and to growing your business. You're the reason why we created Clarity Now. You see, Clarity Now is the real estate software designed to transform real estate agents into business owners. Now, being a great real estate agent is an entirely different skill set than being a great business owner. That's where Clarity Now can help. Clarity Now is powerful because some of the industry's top real estate coaches built it. We know what insights as coaches top performers need to grow their business. So, do you have a business plan based on your net profit goals? Do you know how you're performing against your quarterly goals? Do you generate a P&L each month? Do you have the best tools to help your team members hit their goals? Are you managing your company's pipeline and conversion reports? Do you have the data that you need at your fingertips to run a successful business? Clarity Now can solve all these problems. Visit us at www.claritynowre.com and schedule a personalized tour to learn more. Mention this ad and we'll throw in 1 month for free. Congratulations on your success, and let's take your business to the next level together.
All right. So think about some traits, like what makes you great at what you do? What makes you a badass, Rebecca?
So I'm a student before anything else. And I feel like in order for me to try anything, I have to understand it. And I go to lots of classes. I fly all over the country. I pick up the phone anytime I'm struggling with something so that I can understand how to do something. That's the C in me. And so again, like being a student and doing it the way that somebody else did it, or maybe learned lessons from how they failed, I think is the reason why I am successful so fast. I literally implement before. Yeah, I implement quickly. I also cut fast too. Like if something's not working, I do not spend the money to continue.
So you get into action fast. Let me summarize this. You're an educational junkie. You're okay to ask for help. You implement fast, but you'll also stop something if it's not working.
Yes.
So that's a good point. So how do you like, honestly, so I'm going to cut it fast. It's not working. Well, how do you know, like when do you make a decision in regards to how much time you should have given it? How do you know you didn't cut it too soon?
Well, sometimes I lose sleep at night around that. But the truth is, I'm willing to spend $5,000 on something to start. And if within 3 months, there's no forward progress, it's done. It's not working. I think 3 months for me is my end.
So when you make an investment in the business or in something, you're looking for, at least within a 90-day period of time, I need to see the ball moving forward. I need progress being made. I need to be able to see the return. You're not saying, hey, I just invested $5,000. I need to see a return here in the next 5 minutes, or I'm going to cut it. That's not what we're saying.
I mean, 4 years ago, that would be the case, but no, not anymore.
Got it. You've slowed down a little bit from the instant gratification. You've delayed it from 9 minutes, or you went from, I want it done in 9 minutes, and now I'm okay with 90 days. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
That's progress.
Yeah.
So I know you're an educational junkie. When does that become entertainment versus education that you're actually implementing and moving the business forward?
So in 2018, like part of my story is that I looked up one day and I had no money in my bank account, and you helped me through that. So thank you. That year was my educational junkie year. There was a lot of failure in there where I wanted to go really fast and did not have the foundation, did not have the right partnerships, and just was finding myself traveling every single month to, whatever KW event was going on, or any other continuing education. And what I've learned is in those moments, I just was writing everything down and not understanding that the people from the main stage, they weren't sharing the full story around what they were sharing. And if their ops team was part of their success, there's a different model for that as far as compensation. And I was giving away a huge cost of sale in our business, even though we had a structure of value, of back end systems. And it wasn't until you and I started talking, and you started coaching me around the P&L, I started to cut back on cost of sale and giving away so much of that.
Yeah. So 2018, you look in your bank account and you're almost at zero. You fast forward in a very short period of time. Walk us through, like, what are the changes that you made? Give us an example of that journey and what it was like.
Yeah. So the blessing in all of that was my husband and I had multiple investment properties, so we could sell those. So that was our fast cash that we were able to get out of the $0. And it was literally December 23rd. So like right before Christmas is the day that I realized there was $0. And we were about to have a $32 charge. I can't even think of what that's called. But in January, I decided to just take all the listings. I went on 12 listing appointments that first week of January, and we ended up taking 7 listings to market the next week, and then ended up taking the rest of the listings for the rest of the month. And so in February, after family reunion, you and I talked, and there started to be income coming in, and we sold our beach house. That was 2020, so right before the pandemic. And we sold the beach house. That gave me $52,000 straight out of the gate. I unfortunately ended up having to let some people go, and that was my fault. And we gave them compensation packages because that was my fault, and started back at the foundation and hired 2 cyberbackers and just kept everything virtual because we couldn't be in the office anyways, and built everything Cullen Company virtually.
So the biggest word that stands out to me is sacrifice, right? Like, oh my gosh, here's where we're at. We got to make some decisions. We need to make them quick. First decision is, am I going to stay in business?
Right.
Right? Like, are we actually going to stay in this business? Are we going to stay in this industry? Yes. Now, doing whatever it takes is different for every human out there, right? You're going to start selling investments. You're going to sell the beach house. You're going to get out of business with certain people. All of those are sacrifices. All of those are probably not the easiest decision and help you move forward. But it's what needed to be done at the time if what you were going after meant as much to you as you say it did.
Yeah, it did. And it was an embarrassing moment. My husband, Dan, who's one of my greatest supporters, he literally looked at me and said, "You did this to us. You have to figure out how to get us out." Yeah.
Dang.
And that's not his personality. So when he said that to me, I knew for the next 3 weeks until I got us out of that hole. It was just appointments. That's all I did.
So you get back into action. Isn't that interesting? You know, this level of, whether we call it pain or I have no other option, really. You've mitigated a lot of or you've eliminated all these options here, because it's like, hey, my only option is to get back in the trenches and actually start taking listings.
And I was not serving primarily sellers at that point. I mean, the blessing in all of that is it taught me how to just think about sellers. And I think for a few weeks I was taking buyers too, but I, at that point, had some great talent on my team and they just rock and rolled with the buyers. So being able to split that mindset and for, one to focus on sellers and one to focus on buyers, it was a win-win for everybody.
So you shift from, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but basically what got you there is you potentially focusing on too many things. We get to a point where we have no gas in the tank. You make a decision that this isn't an option. We're going to get out of this no matter what. And think about it. Now you shift to only one focus. One. I'm going to eliminate every single thing else. I'm going to shift to taking listings. And when you do that, how fast did it propel you forward?
Very fast. We were in the regional top 10 by April.
January 1, you basically have zero money. And April, like 1 quarter later, now you're being recognized as one of the top.
Yeah. It felt very, very strange. And I've been very vocal about the challenge that we hit in 2019, because I don't want anybody to think that this, now we are almost, a MREA team. We're going to serve, annually over 100 families, and we have these great systems in place. I just don't want anybody to think that it came easy. Like I want to help new agents or agents that are transitioning from teams to understand that if they do the hard work and they put in the time and the effort, that they can see extraordinary results pretty quickly.
I don't even know if it's hard. And it was probably hard what you were going through. So I'm not here to say, hey, let's take that away from you. But what I'm hearing is like, it really was just a shift in focus. So maybe it's hard to only focus on one thing and stay after one thing. When we rewind this story and say, well, that's the one catapult out of everything. Just get them focused on one thing, stay there, and don't change that until you hit something. I'm going to talk about just go out and take 100 listings a year, right? Just go out and take 100 listings a year. Do that 2 years in a row. Everything else will fall into place. No, it's not that easy, Zuber. It's
not. I still haven't, we've talked about it for 2 years, the challenge of taking 100 listings, at a certain point, if we had the right systems and if we had the right leverage for everything else, then yes, 100 listings, I could make one phone call today and potentially take 12 listings in one batch. But until the systems in the back end are there, everything seems hard.
Okay, so this is what we're going to laugh about now, and you can get pissed off at me like you probably normally do. But it's like, what problem would you like me to help you create? That's really it in a nutshell, because you're going to have problems on either side of this, right? Either I don't have enough or I have too much. And that's the common theme here in a lot of scenarios. It's like, well, I would do that if I had this. I'm like, why? Go break it. Go take 100 listings and we'll figure out what system we need. It's common for most agents to think that, right? It's like, but if I do that, I'm going to break this, or I don't have enough, or I'm not able to do it because of X. It's what our mind does.
It's funny. Again, it's not anything I've never heard before. You say it all the time. But I was complaining the other day that we had 12 listings on the market. The market has shifted, but the complaint of the 12 listings, gosh, when else have we ever had 12 listings? Right? Like we worked so hard. Now we get the opportunity to show the seller why they hired us to begin with. And we're getting them under contract, but the reality is what a blessing that we have that many listings to be able to serve.
See, we're good at complaining. We're good at finding all the things that aren't working. I'm like, find what's working well and keep doing it.
Yeah.
This has been a fun ride, don't you think?
It has been. I'm excited for the future.
What are you excited about? Let's talk about that. Give me an example of like the greatest opportunity that you see in this industry over the next 12 months.
So I think the biggest opportunity is bundling. So be the one-stop shop, keep everything in-house because you have a great customer experience. So like for us, we've been working on customer experience for the last 2 years. Well, now we have that dialed in. We have raving fans. Why would we let them or refer them to anybody else? And so just bundling and offering the ancillary services in-house. That's what we're working on.
Yeah, give us an example of what that means, bundle and ancillary. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, so we have already implemented the property management side, which, the investors that we serve already, they were asking for great property manager recommendations. Nobody was great. So I would just take them on as a client. So now we're just building that out as a system and it's not me anymore, thank God. And so that's an example of an arm of our business. We also have home transformation. So over the last 2 years, buyers have just been buying a house and then they don't love the house. So they can hire us, our GC, to help them have the house that they love. And so there's a greater opportunity for that also. Title, mortgage, insurance, all of those key businesses we're definitely exploring.
Yeah, isn't that interesting when you provide a high level of customer service and you build $1 million database that now you can open up any other ancillary business and be successful right out of the gate?
Yeah.
Pretty tough to skip that step though, right? It's like, hey, I want to skip building out that database and go do it. Wonder what happens when you skip steps, Rebecca.
Yeah, the whole car falls apart. And you have a $0 bank account on Christmas.
Never again.
Never, ever. Yeah. Now we have a mega agent office that you helped us around the mindset with that. We have, and it's a mega agent office that somebody else is renting on the backside. So it's free for us. And we have another beach house, a new beach house, and we have 6 other properties since. So thank you.
Isn't that crazy in just a short period of time? So we're going to make the sacrifice. We're going all in. We need to sell our investments. We need to sell the beach house. I need to get back into the trenches and start focusing on listings. And only a few short years later, now you own a commercial building that has a mega agent office in it. You own a beach house again. You have 6 other investment properties. Would you have thought that January, just such a few years ago, if I didn't ask you at that point, but if I would have asked you, hey, this is where you'll be, in such a few short years, what would you have said?
I probably would have laughed at you. I would have, maybe.
At least we could get you to laugh at least.
Yeah. I just couldn't have even imagined it. I was fine in the middle of the road. I wasn't really fine. I am huge, determined. I want to be number one. So I wouldn't have been fine, but I probably would not have gotten there as fast as I was able to without your partnership.
I appreciate that. It's just without a partnership, right? Without somebody else, creating awareness for you, bringing you back, slowing you down, making sure that we're working on the foundational pieces, reminding you that there's no shortcuts. That's probably what you mean.
Yes, all of that. Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. It's, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the tears of laughter, enjoy the tears of frustration, because they're all earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm at the point now where our business is for my people, and, I want them to have their successes and for them to be buying the multiple investment properties and going on the listing appointments and deciding if they want to buy it instead of just me. And so that's the business that we're building right now.
Are you enjoying it?
I'm loving it. Yeah. That's what drives me.
Yeah. All right. So knowing everything that you know now, give us some step-by-step or some prescriptive, like marching orders, that you would tell someone or give to someone that wants to be where you're at today, but they only want to, they want to get there in half the time.
Yeah. So pick up the MREA and go through the economic model first and then the lead gen model, and add a little bit of shift in there, the first 3 chapters of shift, and do not skip steps. Like literally that's the handbook to getting to the MREA, the gross $1 million step. Then from there, it gets a little harder.
So pick up the MREA. You want to get there at half the time. So we're saying, open it up.
Yeah.
Are we saying fill the numbers in for the economic model? Right. If you're going to fill numbers in, we probably need to know where we're going. Right.
Yes.
So number one, where is it that we're going? I want to be here in this amount of time. So now I know where I'm going. I know how much time I'm giving myself to get there. Now what we're saying is we need the mathematical equation. So what's the economic formula that I need to know? That map is going to help me get there.
Yes.
Yeah. And then what are the generation? How am I going to create this business? What are those levers that I'm going to pull, that I'm going to focus on?
Exactly. Yep. The 3 to 5 levers that you are so committed on and you are not going to do anything else. And for me, that was a little struggle, right? But it was 3. It was 3 that I was committed to. And yes, we've thrown some creative things in there, but again, I cut it if it's not working, and it goes back to the same 3 every time.
And what are those 3 for you?
Sphere of influence, past clients now, but sphere of influence, past clients, and farm. So my neighborhood.
Love it.
Database.
Anything else that you'd tell this new person or person that says, that's great, you did this in 4 years, I want to do it in 2?
It's not fun or pretty, but really just economic model and lead gen model is it.
Oh, man. It's been fun to watch. I tell you what. So let's lighten this up a little bit so we can get you smiling. Give me an example. Give us an example. What TV show or movie series are you watching right now or streaming?
Oh my gosh. So I mean, I'm a Real Housewives of whatever city junkie, and I like a good drama, a mindless drama.
Mindless drama. Okay.
Yeah.
How about a business book that's made the biggest impact on your career?
Oh gosh. Outside of MREA, Atomic Habits and Energy Bus, I think we're equal.
Okay.
The psychology of money also, I'm going to add in there. The psychology of money changed my entire mindset around money.
So those, your three are the habits,
Mm-hmm.
then energy, and then the psychology of money. I mean, seems to match the trajectory you're on.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks for telling me a few years ago to stop just reading to read.
It can be a challenge. I mean, it's like reading to read is one thing, but when you know where you're going, and putting stuff in there that's not on the path of where you're going could actually be a distraction.
Yeah.
Right? It happens a lot. It's like, hey, I've read 52 books. I'm like, yeah, but a lot of those books, I'm all for it. Some of those books are giving you different theses on where you're going, and that could confuse you. So how about a business person or CEO? Is there somebody that you study the most?
I study Gary Keller. I would love to be in a room with him other than Mega Camp. John Maxwell is probably second to that.
Got it. Maxwell and Keller, those are two incredible human beings, that's for sure.
Yes.
All right, Rebecca. So if you go back to when you're 20 years old, what advice would you give yourself?
Enjoy the journey. Stop living your life away.
Stop living your life away?
Stop rushing it. Yeah.
Enjoy it. Pretty good advice. How about if you could pick any other profession outside of real estate, what would it be?
Travel agent?
Is that a question or a statement?
Well, yeah, because at this point, like, I don't want another job, but I would love for people to just treat me to vacations so I could refer them.
Rebecca Cullen, the new travel agent.
Yeah. I could curate a really great experience.
There you go. That's awesome. All right. Well, I want to thank Rebecca Cullen again for joining us today, and a special thank you to our sponsor, Clarity Now. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast to get in the trenches with top agents and business owners about the fact that what are they winning at and who are they, and are willing to share their success. It's awesome.
Thanks for having me.